Apparently, it's a rule that only one Cleveland offense can show up on any given day. Apparently, on Thursday night, it was the Cavs' turn, not the Guardians. We'll see how this thing turns out as we start recording in the top of the 8th inning. We'll try to avoid the Guardians' offensively dismal night as much as we can, and we'll talk about whether or not they are getting unlucky or if this is an offensive slump that is coming in some regression. And we're also going to get into what the data says about drafting high school players instead of college players. It's time for Lockdown Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Welcome, stay, please. Leave us.
Don't go away. Yeah. This has been a brutal game. If you did want to, for some reason, sync up, we just saw Jimenez swing at maybe the worst pitch of the night for strike 3 in the 8th, which is a statement because we just watched the 7th inning where Naylor and Freeman looked about as lost as humanly possible. And people complain about the strike zone, but one can also argue that Freeman got extra strikes. So, this has not been a good one. This is right now you can see just how much they miss Steven Kwan. Should I just start off? I pulled up the data over the last 30 days. Do we want to start with that, or how do you want to tackle going into this?
Yeah, let's just start with the offense.
Okay.
Like, is this a slump or regression, or are they getting unlucky? Because there is some data that supports they've done some good things this year that we'll talk about, but it just kind of feels like offensively lately there has been a bit of a rough patch. I mean, even somebody commented the other day, we didn't mention that about the offense team getting lucky against the Tigers. They did get lucky because of Andy Ibanez's missed catch at second. I literally said that. Like, they were kind of given, I don't want to say given a win, but they were given an opportunity and they took advantage of it. But, they needed some help to get to that Tiger series. And hey, the night they lost, I mean, they scored 7 runs in 2 innings, and then the offense just went back into a hole and didn't come back out. Like, it was still hibernating. So what's the last 30 days say?
So in the last 30 days, there are only 3 hitters who have a weighted runs created.
Not suitable for work, by the way.
No. Only 3 hitters who have a weighted runs created plus over 100. I already told Justin, so here's your chance to guess. If you or someone out there, put your guesses in the comments. Hey, home run. There we go. Jose is not one of them. Okay. Jose is at a 98 over that time.
Probably over 100 now for the home run.
I don't know. Willie with the O for the rest of the evening. We'll have to see. David Fry is third at a 158. Josh Naylor second at 161, and Steven Kwan at a 164. I do feel like, for as much as a year ago, I was kind of riding Kwan because he was average a year ago. But he's been fantastic this year. Like, there's literally no negative you can make. If you're even like, well, what's his BABIP? Maybe he's lucky. 333 for a guy with speed. That's nothing. 10% walk rate, which again at the early going, we were concerned he wasn't walking enough. Here's the craziest thing about Kwan: 3.1% K rate. Like, that is what he was when he came up and he kind of took the league by storm. I don't even think it was that.
I just saw the Jose home run, by the way, because I'm behind your feed, and that wasn't even a strike. That was a terrible pitch to swing at. So,
and then Naylor,
I don't even know what to say about that.
And then Naylor comes back first pitch and swings. Why is everyone swinging at stuff up near their shoulders, like a foot over?
I mean, they don't have a walk in this game as of right now, and that's something we got to talk about.
And because Freeman struck out on a way, way, way too high pitch. Like, they keep going
after his neck.
Yeah, they're swinging at high stuff. But so those 3, if you're curious, number 4 is Will Brennan at a 98. Jose was at a 95. Gabby Arias is a 92. So that's your 6th best hitter. Florial is a 90, Freeman 86, Rocchio 72, Jimenez 61, and bottom of the barrel is Bo Naylor. And that's the thing. Like, I think everyone, I know we had the Grand Slam a week ago, but all of us were kind of like, anyone who's paying attention to this team was like,
it's almost half his RBI. Not that RBI is a great stat, but
I mean, in the last 30 days, he has 7 RBIs. So that is more than half in the last month was that one swing. Like, I think for most of us, we were sitting there watching that bat being like, don't hit into a double play. And then he struck out.
That is the better move, right?
It is.
That is the better.
Like, this is a game they should be winning. You can't get the bases loaded with nobody out and not get a darn thing because your two guys strike out. Like, this offense is rough right now. I mean, we talked, a little bit ago about like Ty Freeman and how his savant page was red. It's not anymore.
Nope.
They're kind of, right now they are back. This is last year. Let me pull up this year. They're scuffling a little bit more. We talked about how they're in the top half. I mean, they're essentially 15th right now in home runs, in just total runs scored. That's an area where, again, they're kind of, they're ninth. Like, they're still, did Naylor just go, and Naylor goes yard. So all we have to do is complain hard enough, Justin. Complain harder. Back-to-back jacks.
I mean, Josh Naylor does own Guaranteed Rate Field. Let's not forget this. That Josh Naylor is the official owner. Although I wish he would change the name to just Josh Naylor Field, because Guaranteed Rate is the worst ballpark name in baseball, I think.
But it's this thing too where it's like they should be winning. Like, this is a game you should 100%.
It's not over yet. It's only the top of the 8th, and Michael Kopech is having a great year. But
we just talked about what the rest of this lineup does, and the group coming up is the group that isn't doing anything.
I mean, hey, David Fry and Brian Rocchio were your heroes against the Tigers.
Let me change that. You do have David Fry, who's in there, who is the other guy who's doing well. And Brennan, lefties, and Brennan is close to average. I will say, if you want to look for a positive in this, BAPIPs have been like, Brennan's is at a 211, Jose's at a 212, Gabby is at a 378. So he's been lucky. Florial is about average, but Freeman 218. There's been some bad luck, but the offense, I mean, losing Kwan, losing the engine has just been a killer. And it's really another 3 weeks at least. And we all wanted Manzardo up. And I still absolutely believe in him. If you're like, watch these first 2 games and you're out, I don't even know what to say. Like, baseball is really tough. There, I wrote today, and we'll talk about later, about like some of the reasons why college players are significantly better bets than high school players. But there's a lot of, part of what I talked about was winnowing, and like the major league level winnows a lot of people out. Like, Matt Laporta dominated AAA.
Is it winnowing or is it winnow?
No, winnowing. Like WINNOW. Anyone play Guild Wars? Comment below if you were the Archer class and used the skill winnowing. Anyone else?
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
Yeah. So that. It's one of those things where this is of course the biggest separator. The 3 big separators are, college to the minors, lower minors to AA, and then to the pros. And this one is,
we'll get to that in segment 3.
But he'll be fine. I believe in him 100%. But man, hopefully Naylor's just slow starting like a year ago. Hopefully Freeman's gonna find a little more consistency. Same with Florial. Hopefully one of these shortstops are gonna step. But notice how many hopefuls I'm saying. Like, that's not a good sign. But it is a first place team. But you got to beat the White Sox. You have to beat the worst team in baseball.
I agree. I will say, it's May. The Guardians had a hot start. I think that's why I said, is this regression? Is this a slump? Are guys as good as they were the first month? Are they as bad as they are right now? Like, there's some rough spots in this offense right now. And it's only May. And the other thing I think we need to remember too is that this is still a young team. I mean, I was frustrated early on too with this game too, because their approach at the plate has been pretty abysmal in this game. I know Eric Fetty has been okay this year in his return. Yeah, he's been solid. I'm not saying he's not a good pitcher, and I also that's why I also put in the notes to talk about today. There's no easy wins even against these kind of teams, because you've got Eric Fetty tonight and on Thursday, and then Friday you're going to get Garrett Crochet, and like there's no nights off in the major league. That's a good league.
The closest it gets though is the other 2 games after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So you're still going to have a tough time against even every team. And the White Sox probably aren't as bad as they were when they were going bad, and they're not as good when they're going good, just like the Guardians. But I want to say, coming into the year, like my expectation coming into the year, I forgot what you said, Jeff, but my expectation was this is a 75 to 85 win team. And then right now I saw somewhere like right now they're at 100 win pace, and I don't think that's going to keep up. I know you don't think that.
No.
But things that I feel like the
Hoping for
expectation.
88.
Did David Fry just go yard off of? No, it just got short.
No, he got to the warning track.
Yeah,
Warning track power
so
against the righty.
I feel like some of the expectations and how we're watching has changed because the Guardians have gotten off to a good start. When coming into the year, we said we're trying to get answers on Braun Rocchio in his first full year. This is the most Tyler Freeman's ever gotten to place. You're getting answers on him. This is probably Will Brennan. I don't want to say it's his last chance because last year was his first full year, but 2 years in a row at his age, if he's getting all this run as playing time, it's a chance he has to take, or he might not be a starter. Bo Naylor, first chance for him to be a starter, right? Kyle Manzardo's up now. The only established guys you had in this line to start the year were Kwan, who has taken a leap forward, thank God, Jose, and Andres. And Andres started out hot, and he has kind of, regressed a little bit or has hit a slump. So you literally had 3 guys in this lineup, Kwan, Jimenez, and Naylor, and Ramirez. So you had 4. You had 4 guys in this lineup that you knew you had answers on. You had 5 guys, plus Gabby Arias, that you didn't have an answer on. And then you throw in Estevan Florial, who you traded for, that you wanted to get a shot to look at. So I think we also have to remember that as good as the start has been, and we're talking about how good they were in the month of April and how May has been a little bit of a lull offensively so far, that you're still trying to get answers on a lot of these players. And that was kind of the theme coming into the year. And things were hot early and things are kind of weak right now. So it's hard to say whether this is a slump or if this is just who they are or they've regressed. I mean, and the one big thing is you're not getting your usual production from Jose Ramirez either. And now you don't have Kwan. So, there's still different narratives of the season. Now you've gotten off to a good start and you have expectations to keep it up. But this is still a team with a lot of players that have not found their footing at the big league level. So still trying to find answers for some of them.
No, yeah, it's early. A lot can shift, a lot can change.
It is still early. It's not even Memorial Day yet.
But the thing I'll just keep saying is you got to beat the White Sox. When a team is that bad, take care of business when given the opportunity.
You got to show up every night. I'm sure Austin Hedges said something because early in the year he talked about how you can't let your guard down against a team just because of their record. But that also could be something this team's got to find out too. So we'll talk more about that. And we'll have to talk about the rest of this game as it is now the bottom of the 8th inning. Somehow we might not get through this one on the broadcast. And then Jeff's got some good data on college players versus high school players. And we're going to talk about some high school players too as we get towards the end of the show. So stick around.
That's right. It's me. I apologize. Stitch Fix. So here's the funny thing about Stitch Fix. I'm used to being in the ad too. Stitch Fix is a company. When I saw this was on our ad schedule, I immediately messaged my wife because we get a lot of Stitch Fix boxes. As my wife says, if you are lazy or tired or just don't have the time, it's a really easy way to get a new wardrobe. She uses it. She's a college professor to change and update her wardrobe for work. This is when I told her about it and I go, hey, you can get a discount if you use our promo code, which by the way is you go to stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. My wife's like, I'm not giving up my account for $20 in savings. Like, she already likes what they're doing so much she was not willing to start over. She's like, no, they know where I am. I'm not, $20 is not enough for her. Like, she likes it so much that savings is not enough. It is a service we use here in this house all the time. So style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started. Stitchfix.com/MLB. Get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. Stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of signing up.
Guardians back. Hopefully a better game against the White Sox on Friday. That is going to be a tough matchup because Garrett Crochet is going for the White Sox.
He's been pretty solid.
The Guardians, yeah, he's been pretty good. He's been helping my fantasy team out. The White Sox or the Guardians will counter with Carlos Carrasco. So that might be an interesting game if you want to check that out.
He was good last time
on your Sirius XM app. Yeah. Going back to the offense again too, just the White Sox. I mean, you got to show up every night if you're going to be a good team. You got to show up, and you can't not take these. I'm not saying they're taking it off, but you have to play well against teams that don't have good records. And this is a team full of, the White Sox are a bad team and they know they're not playing well, but you want to know what? A lot of these guys are trying to play for something. So
yeah,
it's not like they're going out there and just rolling over every night either. So you gotta be serious against them.
I want to throw one quick thing out there. I want people to comment on whether or not they would like this or hate this. So I'm watching the out of market broadcast, and the White Sox in the bottom right hand corner, when it gets to 8 seconds left on the pitch clock, it's like they have it on the screen, like it's the basketball possession. Would you guys and gals watching, would you like Bally or whoever ends up doing it in the future to do that, or would you hate having that pop up on the screen? I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm curious what other people think.
Yeah, I personally would like it. I'll you weren't asking me, but I'll start by saying,
put it in the comments. So I'd be curious.
Someone sent me a graphic on Twitter, and it was the most pulled fly balls over 95 miles an hour. We're talking about the offense again, and the Guardians are 4th this year in pulled fly balls over 94 miles an hour, and that's the ideal outcome is a pulled fly ball, whether you're right-hander or left-hander. If you pull the ball in the air and you hit it 95 miles an hour. Is it always going to be a hit? No. Is it always going to go out of the park? No. But that is generally the most desired outcome for hitters because it means you're out in front and you're attacking the ball at the best point of the pitch and you're making good solid contact. So the Guardians are 4th. They're behind the Dodgers, great offense. Orioles, great offense. Braves, great offense, even though they've kind of had a weird year so far. And then right behind them is the Twins. So watch out for the Twins. So I wish there was a timestamp on that graphic that someone sent me because it doesn't show whether or not that was happening early in the year, if that's still happening and they're getting unlucky. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, is this a slump? Are they getting unlucky? Is it regression? I wish there was I wish I could have filtered it out the time on this, but the results are the results. That was what they were talking about with Josh Naylor. Josh Naylor was before the game there, had an interview with Chris Valaika, just saying that, Naylor has obviously last year he was getting unlucky to start the year and he kind of pulled through it and got better. And then this year he has been hot and then he's, had some dips here and there. But Valaika said, he's not chasing results. He's chasing good process. And that's kind of what good process leads to is those pulled fly balls over 95 miles an hour. So chase more of those, good things will happen. I just wish I knew when they were happening. Someone smarter with me than data can figure it out, I'm sure.
No, I agree.
I'll
say, like, someone was like, how are they not being more successful? I think one of the things to say is I think they do hit the ball hard. They are getting it in the air. They don't walk. So they can't take advantage of it. And they're getting it in the air. Those are line drives, stuff like that. But I think their launch angle is for a lot of these guys still is not ideal to fully tap in and take advantage.
Well, Andres Jimenez is the biggest culprit of that. His launch angle is down below 10. Like someone tweeted the other day about his against Detroit on Wednesday about how many balls he hit over 95 miles an hour and it were all outs. And I said, well, yeah, they were all 2 of them were negative launch angles. Again, that matters. Nobody cares how hard you hit the ball. He's the best. Stephen Vogt said it the other day to Zach. It was like, these are the best defenders in the league. They're all up here because they can catch the ball for the most part. So if you hit 95 miles an hour at someone, chances are it's going to go in someone's glove and it's going to be an out. So should we get into Darren McCacken real quickly? Just a very quick update.
Yeah, I mean, we have to mention him. He's now on the 40-man.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't expect him to come up unless they're like desperate for a fresh arm. Like, if they can't call up Wes Parsons or Peter Strzelecki. They did lose Zach Kent to an injury for a little bit. So I guess, like, in essence, he kind of is the third guy they could call up besides, Curry. But Curry's kind of having a rough go of it in AAA. But they required him for the Marlins for cash considerations. Really, what I think happened here is that Franco Aleman is on the injured list in Columbus with a strained lat. He came out of the game yesterday kind of like shaking his arms. That wasn't good. And then Hunter Stanley, who has been starting for Columbus too, is also on the injured list. So Columbus just needed arms, period. They needed anybody because Adam Aller got 2 outs the other day when he started a game, so that wasn't good. So I essentially think this is just a AAA death move. I don't think it's great. No.
He is. I found an old article with him that was great where he talked about. He was he was one of the Golden Spikes candidates at Long Beach State, where he was talking to the other pitchers in that draft class and getting some advice from the other greats, J.B. Bukowskis, Kyle Wright, and Alex Faedo. And I was like, oh man, that's a grouping of names. But you can find an interesting article from Seattle writer when he was there that basically he is like sinker ball. That's the main draw. Sinker and the slider was okay. He is AAA depth, 100%.
If he has to
here.
come up, it's probably not great. No offense to
No.
him, but it's probably not.
No,
great.
and he is also that guy that we've talked about the need for roster fodder. He's roster fodder. Like, you and I really like Nick Enright, but the thing is they don't have to add Nick Enright, and if you add him, then you're probably going to end up having to remove him and then risk losing him. So they're trying to, guys like McFadden and Parsons are the guys that it doesn't hurt if you lose.
Yeah, basically. And then real quickly too, everyone, I saw a lot of people online freaking out about Gavin Williams. He was moved to the 60-day injured list. Zach wrote the other day on the Athletic, Zach Meinzel, that he was not going to be coming back till June at the earliest. So if he goes on, now he's on 60-day IL, it's retroactive. He's eligible to come back May 24th, but obviously he's not going to come back. So it's just paper move. Nothing new with Gavin. They're talking June. It's May 10th, and he hasn't even made a rehab start yet. So
yeah, he's a bit
essentially
off.
Yeah. Will Brennan looks like he got a little unlucky on that fly ball to center. It was at 390 feet. Anywhere else in that ballpark, it's a home run. He hit the wrong part of the park. And then it was 100 miles an hour. And then, of course, Bo Naylor couldn't catch up to any 100-mile-an-hour heat. And what does he do? He singles 181 miles an hour. So, dear Lord. Anyway, there was an interesting article from Ken Rosenthal about the gap between the majors and the minors with JD Martinez coming back to the majors of the Mets. I wanted to touch on that a little bit in segment 3. And we also want to get to the data on high school versus college players. So we're going to cover all that here as the game wraps up on Thursday and we wrap up today's episode for Friday. All right, let's be honest. At some point in all of our lives, we're going to have to talk about insurance, life insurance, that is. And Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 a year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval, and they avoid unnecessary medical exams. Can't always take your life insurance with you from job to job. Some people have high-risk jobs where it's a little more difficult to get that insurance. You got to pay a little bit more, and sometimes we need help to get through that. And Policygenius can really help you because they'll give you out your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts are going to walk you through it. And they don't have an incentive to recommend a specific insurer, so they're unbiased, and they can just give you the advice you need for the best insurance policy for your family and you. And if you don't believe us, they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot for customers who did find the best fit for their needs. So check life insurance off your to-do list with no time with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com/locked MLB or click on the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/locked on. And also check out our friends at DoorDash. It is coming up quickly. Mother's Day is this weekend. Still time to get your offer on DoorDash. 50% off next order or $15 off when you spend $15 more on your next flour, convenience, or grocery retail order. Use our code LOCKEDONMLB. You're on your phone anyway, scrolling. If you're still trying to figure out what mom wants for Mother's Day or what you can do for the mother in your life, someone special for you on Mother's Day, just check out DoorDash, and I'm sure you will find something that she is going to like. So get 50% off of your next order, whether that is flowers, convenience, grocery, or retail. You can do it all on DoorDash, all in one place. 50% off when you spend 15 or more on your next 15 off when you spend 15 or more on your next order. That's Locked On MLB. Use DoorDash today. Terms apply. Guardians can't pull it off on Thursday. Losing 3-2, 2 home runs, not enough. But hopefully on Friday you can listen to your Sirius XM app and they can beat Garrett Crochet and the White Sox. That's
you gotta
all I
beat
can
the
hope
White Sox.
for. Yeah,
you got it. This is a team that's on track for historical badness.
Got to show up every day. There's no days off. No matter how bad the team is, there's no days off. You have to show up every day, and you can't assume you're going to win. You just can't. Ken Rosenthal's article was really good on Thursday on The Athletic. If you're a subscriber, check that out. It was talking about the gap between the majors and the minors, and JD Martinez is back in the majors with the Mets, and they asked him how he was feeling about his swing, and he said, I feel fine, but I haven't seen any velocity. And basically, you've got nobody in AAA outside of like a couple of random prospects and maybe some relievers who aren't in the majors yet that are depth that don't throw over 95. Like, you've got a lot of guys in the minors that just aren't throwing hard anymore. Anybody who throws 95 you're probably on a 40-man roster because you have velocity. And you're either going up and down or you're up. And that's just why you're seeing a lot of guys have a hard time adjusting to the major league level. Like Jackson Holliday and Kyle Manzardo off to a tough start so far, and Bo Naylor even. When you see velocity like that, you just don't see that kind of pitching in AAA. It is getting harder to sit here and say, oh, we think this guy is going to hit, or we think this guy is going to be a good offensive player, because you're just not going to see the quality of pitching in the minor leagues you are in the majors. So until you are really facing that quality of pitching, you just don't know. You don't know. And, it's going to be this. It's going to be the same thing with going from college to or high school to college to the pros. Like, you've got to perform at a high level against the pitching you're seeing, so everyone believes that you're going to be able to do that at the next level. At some point, you've got to be able to prove all that, and that's why facing the highest quality pitching tends to matter, right?
Yeah, it's it goes back to our conversation a while ago when people were making a big deal about Bazana hasn't hit high velocity. It's like, well, he faced 11 total pitches. He faced 11 pitches over 94 miles an hour. So the data
was all Hagen Smith,
worthless.
Probably.
Yeah. So the data was worthless. You don't face that, unfortunately, in the minors. And you really don't face it in college. And that's why, like, anyone who is quoting high school stats is someone you can probably ignore, if I'm being honest. Because here's the thing. Most of the guys that a good prospect plays, I'm not even saying a great, but let's say good. Let's say the top prep prospect in Ohio, Braden Krenzel. Yes, you are old. This is definitely one of those moments. He is the son of Craig. He's a Columbus kid, and 70%? Yeah, Jerome Dublin. 70% of the guys he faced won't even go on to play D3 or JUCO. So stats don't matter. And there is more risk. And I was just kind of curious. So I went from 2000 to 2016, which was enough time to make sure that all of those high-end picks had a chance to accumulate points. And from 2000 to 2016, of all the players taking the top 10, 40% of college players taking the top 10 have 6 B WAR or better. That's not great. It's like,
baseball reference WAR.
Yeah, but it's like a total of 6 means they had 3 seasons where they were about league average. So that's 40% were that. If you're like, well, what about high school players? 24%. I had that wrong. 24%. So only not even a quarter, as opposed to 40%. We at least had 2 or 3 average years. To be over 12 and be close to that star level, or that guy is going to give you, 3 to 4 wins a year. 29% of college players. So their exceptional level is higher than the lower level of prep. So just to completely phrase that, to get a high-end player with a college is more likely than to get a backup / occasional starter with prep. That's how the odds are. If you want to get that high-end player, it's only 18% of prep. So really, if you're picking in the top 10, you should almost never go prep. Like, the data plays out. And one of the reasons is to go back to what I talked about earlier. It's the winnowing. There are fantastic prospects who get into college baseball and go nowhere. I hate to like throw people under the bus, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to tell you about some players. Zach Shannon was a guy from Ohio who with Cameron Vergara were the top prep guys that year, and both were potential first round picks. Vergara ended up going to Tampa. Zach Shannon bounced around like 5 different JUCOs, eventually got drafted as a 5th-year senior. But he was the guy who had first round buzz at the end of the summer. And I'm right now blanking on the outfielder Cleveland took in 2019 at the end of their draft, who had first round run that year, and then he's bounced around colleges. Like, the thing is, there is a lot of players who either can't make adjustments, don't have the work ethic, don't have the skills, or a combination. I'm not saying it about any of these guys in particular, but there are a lot of guys who have had first round buzz who go to college and completely Nanders DeSatis went to Florida State. In my first way too early mock draft of his year, I had him as like one of the top 2 prep players. The winnowing, the separation, having that ability to kind of separate the beginning of the wheat from the chaff of players. Now, this might sound really cruel to phrase it that way when we're talking about college kids, but it's also a $1 billion industry. So let's also be honest with what it is, which is a business. And when you're taking a college guy, they've gotten through the first few hoops. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It's only 40% of guys taken in the top 10.
But it whittles guys out.
Yeah, but you're whittling them out at a much higher rate. And you're also finding more successful guys. So, yeah. Connor Griffin is fun. Bryce Rainier is fun. They're both in my top 12 guys. I have 10 of my top 12 are college guys. But, I mean, the top 8 to me, if you are picking the top 8 and you take anything other than a college bat this year, you're making a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's got to be a generational talent at high school. And,
kind of came up.
Nobody even knew about Jackson Holiday. Like nobody even knew that either. And
he was
I'm
late
sure
riser.
Fine. Right. You just don't know.
And this goes back too, because Clint Frazier signed with the Independent Baseball League today. It's one of those things where if he goes to college, because he never really adjusted to being able to hit breaking pitches. That was his issue when he signed, and he still couldn't do it. And he got better as a hitter in the minors, and I still think he would have probably been a first-round pick. But, there's that danger. Who wouldn't have been a first-round pick was likely Trey Ball, who was taken right after him, who was an even bigger bust. We talk about with Connor Griffin and the bad luck of Mississippi, don't look at Indiana high school prospects. That is maybe the ugliest list I can think of guys like Ash Russell.
Mississippi's not great. California,
California, Georgia, Texas, Florida,
and Will Benson and Clint Frazier from there, and they've had varying degrees of success. Will Benson, okay, he's off to a bad start this year, and Frazier just never made it. It worked out for the Guardians though, because they got Andrew Miller.
Pennsylvania, by the way, good one. Side note, like you've had a lot of guys that come out of there. David Shields is the guy to watch this year from there.
Yeah. I almost feel like, honestly, the MLB needs a rule to send guys to college for, at least go to JUCO at the very least. I almost feel like you should just eliminate high school players going to the pros.
The thing I'll say though
is it's so high. It's so high.
You'd
get a better product. You'd get a better college product. You'd get a better minor league.
I don't know if you're getting a better product because development, honestly, in college is not very good right now. It's just you're winnowing out who's good and who isn't. Like you're just making him face better competition to realize, oh, this guy beat up mostly on bat. He was a big small fish in a small pond, and now he's in a big pond and he's getting eaten. It's that
because the small fish, right?
The other problem is you have to completely revamp and fire every college coach if you're going to do it that way, because you're trying to turn it into a developmental league, and these college coaches don't care about your development. They don't. They're going to throw your arm until it falls off in many situations. There are good coaches out there, but there are still a lot of arm abuse happening at the college level.
Oh, there is. Major League Baseball would love that though, to turn college and developmental league, because it'd be free, and they're going to get rid of low A at some point in the next 10 years anyway. So
probably,
that they could still fight for that. All right, real quick before we get out of here, two things. So we found out through an article on the Atlanta Journal-Constitution is that Charlie Condon's advisor, I didn't say agent, is, I have to go back and look for it, is why can't I find
not someone I knew before? Like, so it's a positive to me that he is
it's not it's Brandon O'Hearn of Vayner Sports. He is a former he was a draft pick. He didn't go very far. But he has been with Charlie Condon since he was in Northwoods League a couple years ago, and the family insists they have not explored other opportunities and further yet. So for right now, he is Charlie Condon's advisor. It's not Boris. It's not a Rosenhaus. So that's good.
It's like for now they have not. It was an interesting statement.
Correct.
Just,
Yeah, I don't want to say we don't want to sit here and say that come a month from now it has changed, but he's been with that kid for a little bit now. So hopefully the family will remain loyal to him, but they'll do what's best for them in the end.
Yeah.
You mentioned Braden Krenzel. He has worked out and taken pitching lessons from Brad Goldberg, who is now the Guardians bullpen coach for the last couple of years. Ohio kid. I don't know. I could see Krenzel, the
Tennessee commit.
I would hate to see him go to Tennessee because pitchers have not fared very well there, but we'll see. And then real quick before we get out of here. So Paul Skeens is going to make his debut this Saturday, less than a year after he was picked. So my question to everybody today, and Jeff, is, and we'll answer the question Monday since we're running out of time. Will the Guardians' #1 overall pick this year be up on May 10th, 2025? We'll come back and talk about that Monday.
Yes or no?
Yes or no. Yeah, we'll do it Monday. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. We'll answer it Monday.
I will answer yes or no. And I also want to
Maybe.
say thank you to everyone. Moving Target was the last of the people who was like, hey, I'm an everyday. I haven't had a shout out. So thank you, Moving Target. Appreciate all of our everydayers. Thank you for joining us, rating and reviewing, downloading. It helps. And as
Beat
always,
the Sox, do it.
you gotta beat them. And thank you to everyone who watched this whole show. We're pretty sure with the Cavs win that it's just our moms. So if you're not our mom, comment and let us know. Thank you. And go Guardians, go.